Hold on. Oh, now we're recording. Hello.
Hello there, my friends and denizens of Speaker's Corner. Today, I'm going to be your version of Steve Irwin, and we're going to show you the different species of nutcase that we have here in Speaker's Corner. It's a great place. Mwah, chef's kiss. Amazing place. Let's just hope there's no stingrays, because me impersonating Steve Irwin, could end poorly if there's any stingrays in the area.
Oh.
He died to a stingray. For anyone who doesn't know. He was my hero though. I really loved Steve Irwin, man. He was a lovely guy. He treated animals really well, but he would explain a lot about animals, and he would do these crazy stunts like jump on a crocodile from behind and hold it pinned down. Like the crocodile was let me eat you. But he wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
But although, he treated the animals very well. I remember he had a king cobra in his hand one time, and it was like hissing, and he was like, so beautiful. It's really funny. Look at this. We got some debates going on here. Not sure what it's about. Probably Christians versus Muslims as usual. Let's see. Do we know anybody around here? Do we know anybody? Not yet. Oh look, Street Mike is here. Look who's here.
No, that's really funny. I thought it was pretty funny. No, my first is out of
and which means salvation. And Jesus was Emmanuel. In the Old Testament prophecy, it says a virgin will give birth to a son, and his name will be Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us.
I don't see anybody.
And Jesus was
anybody, as in people I actually know.
God manifested in flesh. So I'm just requesting everyone to believe in Jesus as Lord and Savior. We are living in the end times of the world. There are more chaos, more wars to happen in this world. But Jesus is calling
regulars in the park.
as
He
your
comes here and he films very often, Street Mike on YouTube. He has a
does not
YouTube channel.
want any person to perish.
Pretty good interviews sometimes, some interesting stuff. Used to come to our Ukrainian protests sometimes.
So what? I've got 5 minutes because I have to go at 6. Whoa. So cameras, I don't like cameras. Following you. So Pavlo, good afternoon. So what I'm going to do? I want you to update on what's going on.
Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. The updates on Ukraine. There's not too many updates to be honest. The situation is the following. Ukraine is waiting for the final check. Ukraine is waiting for the attack. Ukraine is waiting for the fast last estimate. Because that is the last that is what we need to end this war. But unfortunately, there's still some people dragging their feet. Now we're getting this agreement slowly but surely. But if it came a little bit faster, if it came a little bit on time, guys, it would be very, very nice. Just done and dusted. Finish this situation already. There have been some gains around the world, and on the direction to win a few different parts. There haven't been huge gains, but the Ukrainians have overcome in the Surovikin line, which is the main line of defense the Russians have built. But by the way, used to be friends with Prigozhin, so I'm kind of surprised he's still alive. He's probably gonna fall off a building very soon.
So, how's your family back home?
My family's doing great, they're doing very well, fortunately, as I said.
Long live Mother Russia!
Is it?
Yes,
Is it
bro.
your mother?
No, long live Mother Russia, because Ukraine are idiots. They're getting used by America and West, and the money is going aside the activate after Zelensky. Yes.
Is it? Could you give me some evidence of your claim?
I'll give you evidence, as long as you give me evidence that what you
give me evidence. No, you give me evidence.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
By the will of Allah,
Oh, is it?
Russia and Putin will wipe out Ukraine from the map of
So
the
you're
world.
saying the Chechens are not Muslims anymore?
Inshallah,
Inshallah, is it?
Putin will wipe
Is it
Ukraine
inshallah?
from the
You
map
sure
of the surface of
you
the
sure
earth.
of that?
Because Ukraine done this to themselves by voting in
Did they?
Zelensky, who's a gay actor.
Is it?
He's an acting president, he's not
What makes you
president.
think he's gay? You know he has a wife and kids, right?
Yeah, because you saw him 20 years ago on TV and you voted for him.
Wait,
so now
what
you
makes
suffer the
think he's gay?
consequences.
What, whoa, buddy. One baseless accusation
What
at a
makes
time.
me think he's
One
gay?
baseless accusation at a
His
time.
music video of 20 years ago and he's in gay latex shaking his ass.
Music video.
Yes.
Okay.
Inshallah,
Actor
by
with
the
a music
will of
video.
Allah,
That means he's gay, right?
Russia and Putin will wipe Ukraine from the map because you deserve
So you
it.
speak for Allah
Because
now.
you deserve
Are you
it.
superior to Allah?
No, I'm
Is-
saying
is Allah
inshallah.
listening to your
I said
orders?
God willing.
Is it? Oh, God willing.
Because
But God is
any
not
nation,
willing.
any
God is
nation
not
that
willing, my
happens to
friend.
them,
God,
they
your
bring it
God
upon
is not
themselves.
willing.
They
Your
bring
God
it-
is not
you-
willing.
Ukrainians
You
are
know-
bringing this upon themselves.
You know,
And you're,
buddy,
why are you here?
if
Why are
you-
you not
if you-
fired?
if you were
Are you,
not-
as a
if
Ukrainian?
you were not a hypocrite,
What? Why
if
is
you
he
were
not
not
in the
a
battlefield?
hypocrite-
Why are you not in the battlefield fighting for Ukraine?
Calm down. Look, you're
No.
very excited right now.
You're
I
a
can see
young
you're
man.
smoking some
How-
weed. That's
how did
haram,
you-
by the
how
way.
did you leave?
Weed is haram,
How
by
did
the
you
way.
leave?
You're a...
It's not weed.
Oh, it's not
How-
weed.
how
Sure,
did
it's
you
not.
leave?
It's not weed.
How did you leave?
Smells like weed, looks like weed, but no, it's not weed actually. It's
not weed.
No, it's not weed.
No, it's
You
not.
know, weed is haram and smoking is haram, and you're not a real Muslim.
But
Get
all
out
I
of
want to say is, why are you not in
You're not a
Ukraine
real
fighting?
Muslim. You're
How
not a
did you?
real
How did you
Muslim.
escape Ukraine?
You're not a real
How
Muslim.
did you
I didn't
cowardly
escape
leave?
Ukraine.
You left like a
I did not
coward.
escape
Yes, you
Ukraine.
did,
You're
because
not
you
a
was
real
afraid.
Muslim.
You was afraid to
Why
stand
are you
and
saying
fight and die.
inshallah and
Why are you
smoking?
here?
Why are you
Why are
saying
you here?
inshallah
Why are
and
you here
smoking?
and speaking
Why are you
schooner?
smoking
Why are you
and
here and
saying
speaking schooner,
inshallah?
chatting shit
Why
when your
are
brothers
you
are dying in the
saying
battlefield?
inshallah
If
and
you believed in the
smoking?
cause,
Oh,
why
you're
you not
a
there with a
waste,
gun
man. Bro,
and shooting
you're
our
an
Russians?
absolute
Because
waste,
you're a
man.
coward.
You're such a
Because
waste,
you're a coward.
man.
And
You're the
inshallah,
lowest. You're the
God
lowest.
willing,
Inshallah,
Russia will wipe
Says
Ukraine from the
when
surface of the
smoking
earth
ciggy.
because you deserve it.
Look, oh, you're leaving. Yeah, run away.
I'm leaving
Run away.
because I can't argue with cowards.
Run away.
How is he
Of
here
course,
when
of
his
course.
brothers
If you
are
can't
dying in the
argue-
battlefield?
If you can't
Explain
argue
that
with
to me.
cowards,
Just
then
explain
what
to
does
me.
that make
Explain
you?
to me.
You're
How did you leave
inferior to
Ukraine?
a coward then.
So right now, how?
What does that make you?
What do you want me to argue with you?
If you're Muslim, but this is haram. This guy should not be smoking and saying inshallah. This is a bad name for Islam. This is a bad image of Islam. Make sure you film this guy, because this guy is a terrible.
I just want to know. I just want to know how he escaped being on the battlefield.
Typical hypocrite.
You're
Yes,
a coward.
you are a hypocrite.
If
Look,
you
you're
wasn't a
smoking
coward, if you wasn't a coward, you would be on the battlefield dying with your brothers. Instead, you're in London speaking school and chatting shit. You're a coward. And Putin is going to wipe Ukraine off the map.
Are you sure of that? Maybe he's going to wipe you off the map, which would be a good idea, honestly, because this guy is a hypocrite.
So,
Anyway.
in closing,
Oh, we're already closing. Damn it! This guy just came and filibustered.
no, he hasn't. Look, I know you, we've engaged over the last year, and people always say, why are you not at home or on the battlefield? That's his argument, and you've already told us why, but I have to close. By 5 past, as you know, 6 o'clock I'm gone. It's now 6, so you've got 3 minutes to say what you want, then I'm closing. No, I've got to go.
I'll reiterate what I've said already. The people who ask the question, oh, why are you not fighting, why are you not fighting, are either stupid or hypocrites, and they want the worst for Ukraine. If every single Ukrainian on earth went to Ukraine, it would not make a difference. Oh, you're back, come back, come back. You're the one running away. Yeah, Ronnie.
Just ignore him.
Yeah, this inshallah guy who smokes a ciggy and says inshallah. That's a typical hypocrite, man. This guy is a terrible representation of Islam. Anyway, less about him. Some nutcases passing by. So let me reiterate what I used to say before. If every Ukrainian went to Ukraine and Ukraine did not get the weapons they need, Ukraine would still lose. Ukraine would stand no chance. Ukraine needs the weapons. And we are here to remind people about what was promised in the Budapest Memorandum, to remind people about what was promised in the many agreements made between Ukraine, Russia, and other countries involved. We will make sure that Ukraine gets what it needs to win. And if any of you want to join us, we are having our protest 10 Downing Street every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, every Saturday at 4 o'clock, every Sunday at 3 o'clock. I'm fresh out of the protest. I'm one of their speakers. If you want, you can come there, you can support Ukraine. And here I debate against the Russophiles and nutcases, like that guy who's smoking a cig and saying inshallah. Now that's a fake Muslim right there.
As normal, thank you very much, Pablo, and for those of you who are watching, I'm closing down now. I did say 6 o'clock I'm gone, but it's now 6 o'clock, so all I can say is thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. We will be back at 1 to 6 p.m. next Sunday, so thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
Thank you.
about Ukraine and not all other countries like Palestine, like all African countries, like that people are dying.
Why should we care about Ukraine
Yeah,
more?
yeah.
Because
Why?
Ukraine has given up the third biggest nuclear arsenal in the world. Ukraine has sacrificed a lot to achieve world peace.
Ukraine is so corrupted. Ukraine, like,
What does that have to do with the question? What does corruption have to do with it?
You told me you gave up the nuclear.
Yes, nuclear weapons.
It wasn't even Ukrainian government
What do you mean?
decision. It was
What are you talking about? There was a treaty that the Ukrainian government was part of. The Ukrainian government signed this treaty.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what's this treaty called?
Yeah.
What is it called?
I don't care about that.
Oh, you don't care, huh? You don't know the name. And you're trying to teach me about the treaty you have no idea about.
I'm not teaching you about the treaty. I'm telling you.
Oh, is it? You just told me something that's not verdict.
Why would we care about it so much?
Because Ukraine gave up the third biggest nuclear arsenal in the world.
Yeah. So that's the reason that we should care about.
That's the main reason, yes. Ukraine gave up a lot to achieve world peace. Ukraine deserves that.
I have a question to her.
Peace?
Do you think Russia is on the right side?
There is. It's not easy question.
No, it's not easy. Oh, it's not an easy question, huh? It's not
So
an
do you
easy
think
question.
of Ukraine on the
I mean,
right side?
I think there's very little we can ask of individuals like this one.
There was
Individuals who try to argue with me about the Budapest Memorandum, and then I ask them, do you know what's this treaty called? Why are you arguing about
Just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it. Yeah, that's the catchphrase. That's the catchphrase. Just Google it. I mean, I wish they Googled it. I wish they went to Google and actually did their research. But none of these people did any research. They just come to us. They're like, oh, go back to Ukraine, go back to fight for Ukraine. And then you ask them, okay, dude, you know that Ukraine needs the weapons to win this war, right? It's not about Ukrainians going to Ukraine. It's about Ukraine getting the weapons. If we get the weapons, the soldiers we have now fighting will be more than enough to completely, to completely annihilate the Russian military in Ukraine. Completely, wipe the floor with it if we get the right weapons. But these individuals still come to me and are like, oh, why are you here? Why are you here? Because Ukraine didn't get the right weapons. We're trying to make a change, and everybody is invited to make a change with us. That's what I mean.
But even like Ukrainian soldiers that I've shown haven't even, none of them go, he should be fighting. They all like the video. What are you doing,
This
sir?
guy, how are you? I remember this guy, he's one of the Speaker's Corner legends, he comes here very often. He doesn't speak, but he listens, and he speaks privately.
They told me you want
Well, I was there long ago, but
yes, Ukrainian. God, thank you very much. Thank you. God bless the world.
Appreciate it.
Peace and love in the world.
yeah, what a nice guy, right? This is a nice person here, nice guy here. Let's check if we find any more of these characters.
Okay.
What's up, bro? You want to say something too? Dublin, Mr. Dublin.
Mr. Dublin. I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess I don't really have an opinion. I'm just listening. But Ukraine, I guess I met some Ukrainian people are good. But like, what do you think about Islam? Because I heard you saying something about that.
It's a religion.
It's a religion.
It's a big religion. Christianity and Islam are the two biggest religions. I think Hinduism is also very big, but it's very local over in India. And India is the most populous country in the world right now.
I'm from India.
You're from India? Oh. Are you Hindu or Muslim?
I'm Muslim.
You're Muslim. So how do you think the treatment of Muslims is in India? It's bad or?
Pretty bad. It's getting worse. But I mean, I live in the U.S., so I don't know. But I think it's definitely getting worse. It'll get better soon, I'm sure. I believe in India because I think India in the long run will be fine. It's really bad with Muslims.
There's been a lot of disputes between India and Pakistan, especially about some regions.
But I don't want anyone besides me having
basically Kashmir is just a political tool. Because the people of Kashmir, they want to independence. That's like, if you ask a person in Kashmir, they'll tell you. Like, I think like 80%, I'm not sure. They'll go about it for 80%.
No, they're not. Ukraine is a country and Russia is another country.
But that's just not realistic.
Family.
Okay, let's imagine it that way.
The
Let's
Muslims are treating
imagine.
Kashmir.
Because this is your house. Let me just explain.
They have them under martial law.
That's your house.
It's not
So
on purpose.
let me explain.
same way.
I have my house
invaded an area,
and this is your house.
part of the country.
And I have my backyard, and you have your backyard.
And they
Imagine,
kind of
I
they're
come
under
to
martial
your
law.
house.
They have no
Telling
civil
me
rights, cannot leave,
you can't park
no
in your
Wi-Fi, no internet access, nothing.
And you tell me why?
And so their
You are
argument is,
affected.
oh, the only way to break
That's your
this
house.
is if
That's
we
your country. That's
become
your land.
our own state. But I don't know if
That's not a
that's
good
realistic, because then
explanation from
Pakistan is going to do the
for
same.
Russia to intervene in another country.
I heard
Ukrainian was their country. They were not coming to Russia. They were not coming to Moscow. They were doing nothing. They even let go their nuclear weapons.
They wouldn't just sign a paper.
Why? They don't have to. Imagine I come to your house. Imagine I come to your house and I say, look, I have to sign a paper that you will never have a stair. You will never have.
Threatening Russia.
No,
Ukraine is a small country, right, compared to Russia and the West. So both of these countries kind of use them as puppets.
Yeah, but keep in mind, there are many countries that are smaller. I mean, every country is smaller than Russia. Russia is the biggest country in the world, right? But there are many countries who, although being smaller than Russia geographically, are far more powerful than Russia. Like the US, perfect example. China, far more powerful than
Yeah, I don't think this could ever happen with Kashmir though, because Kashmir, it just doesn't, there's nothing, like, what are they going to do in Kashmir if they become their own state? There's no, like, resources there. They have some mountains, they have good tea, really beautiful place, but they're not, I don't think they would survive. They're between two nuclear powers who both want control of them. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously Ukraine survived, like, they're winning the war right now, I guess, would say. I don't know, would you say they're winning or not really?
I'd say Ukraine is winning, but Ukraine could have won this war already if Ukraine got all the equipment they need from the
What
West.
specific equipment though? Like,
Very good question. Ukraine needs long-range missiles. Ukraine needs ATACMS. Ukraine needs fighter jets, like F-16s and other kinds of fighter jets. Ukraine needs, the best stuff. If Ukraine gets the best stuff, Russia stands no chance. Russia gets, we can wipe the floor with Russia. That's what's going to happen. And you're back. Why are you back? You really love making a fool out of yourself in front of me, don't
I
you?
think he has a little crush on you.
No, what I love is how are you standing here when your brethren are dying? I don't understand how.
If you had the maturity and the patience to wait for a few milliseconds for me to explain this to you, then you would have known already why I'm here. But you didn't have that patience, so I'm not going to bother talking to you. Go on.
You're a coward.
so, I mean, I'm just curious, like,
You're a coward. Your brothers are dying on the battlefield.
Film this guy, film this guy. I like this guy.
You're a coward. You're screaming over him. You're a coward. You're not even letting him speak.
He's like Gollum from
He's gonna walk away
that hurts my
again.
feelings so much. Run
gonna
away.
walk away again.
Run away.
Oh,
Pussy.
you poor thing. He got scared. He smoked too much. Dude, this is the result of smoking too much weed. This is when people, their brain just melts. Their brain melts with the drugs. I bet the guy does heavier drugs at home too. Anyway.
yeah, no, so I mean, because I'm from the U.S. obviously, and we gave, I think, something like 44 billion in aid. I'm not sure the exact number, and it's kind of a big political. I don't know if you know a lot in the recent Republican debate. A lot of them were saying, like, kind of like, well, we're giving that much money when we have so many problems in the U.S. And I can see that resonating with some people because, like, we obviously support Ukraine. We have a necessity, but when our own citizens are struggling, why, like, should this? You know what I mean? It's not. It's a tough world we live in. It's a shitty situation. But why should our money, when we have citizens who don't have health care, we have homeless people, why should this money go to Ukraine?
There's two reasons. First of all, because the U.S. has pledged to do so in the Budapest Memorandum. The U.S. has encouraged Ukraine to give up their nuclear weapons in nuclear demilitarization. That's the first problem. The U.S. needs to keep its word. Every country who's trustworthy, who is legit in the world stage, they need to keep their word. If they don't keep their word, why should anybody make treaties with them? Why should anybody honor their treaties with them? Like Russia right now is a pariah because Russia has broken every treaty with Ukraine, and people know this. Like despite there being some countries like North Korea or Iran who support Russia, even they know that Russia cannot be trusted. They kind of support Russia out of convenience.
Because I think even India, we're technically a Russian ally, but they just but it's more just cautious. They know
Less and less so. India has made many agreements with the US about weapons and purchases. You know what I mean? Because they've seen how ineffective the Russian weapons are, and they decided to purchase them from the US instead. And there was a second reason, and the second reason is because you want what's best for you. And the best for the US is to maintain their influence in the global theater, to maintain their influence, to support liberal democracies, to support democracies around the world, to support freedom, to support countries with with a better rule, countries who are against authoritarianism.
Yeah.
And it's in the US's benefit to limit Russia's influence in
I mean, I've definitely seen like U.S. politicians make that argument, and sometimes I think that's valid. In the case of Ukraine, obviously, they're taking on a dictator. But there's other instances in which I think politicians make that argument, like Iraq. Take that for an example, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're fighting against the dictator, we're fighting for freedom. Look at Iraq now. Like, was it any better because of American influence? Probably not.
No, we're fighting against the dictator, but it doesn't mean that their intervention ended up in something positive. Their first intervention, I would argue it was very positive because they were defending, in Kuwait, because the Iraqis annexed Kuwait. The Kuwaitis didn't want to be part of Iraq; they were just being forced to be part of Iraq. The second intervention is a lot more debatable. Most people would say no, it's a bad intervention, blah blah blah. Saddam Hussein had invaded almost every single one of his neighbors in that war, so he was really hated in the region. The Americans were not the only ones who wanted to invade them. The Saudis were encouraging the Americans to invade.
Israel, obviously, too.
Of course, Israel was
every country.
He even invaded Iran. He had a war with Iran. Many people don't speak.
And the U.S. What's interesting is the U.S. actually supported Iraq during that war.
Yeah, they
which
did.
is funny. Which is really funny.
They did to an extent. I mean, they were using the weapons that the U.S. had already sent to Iraq, and Iraq had some treaties with the U.S. They were purchasing weapons from the U.S. So it wasn't like, support as in, oh yeah, go ahead, attack Iraq, or yeah, we support you, your war is legitimate. No, it was more like selling.
It's an implicit kind of, we can
yeah, it's a lesser support, but yeah, I guess you're right in a way. But the point is, not every intervention the U.S. has done is a good intervention. Some were good, some were bad. But the point, when we link this to Ukraine and Russia, is that this is clearly a terrible intervention done by Russia. It has had no positive outcomes for Russia, no positive outcomes for Ukraine. Everybody is losing here, and Ukraine needs to win this war, or a lot more people will die. If we allow Russia to keep parts of Ukraine, they will not stop attacking Ukraine in the future. They will wait a year probably, and then they'll go for another try.
So what would be the conditions for peace? Like, they completely out? Because I feel like from what I've seen, I feel like the way it's going to end, like, this is obviously, I don't want it to end this way, but I feel like the only way it's going to end is if Ukraine somehow agrees to give up, like, maybe